Ladies and gentlemen, there's an article by Joseph Stiglitz. This is on MarketWatch.com. It says 3 decades of neoliberal policies have decimated the middle class, our economy, and our democracy. Our democracy, too. Well, Stiglitz says a bunch of stuff. He goes on a bit. He's a nonsense guy. He's got a Nobel Prize in economics, so he's obviously full of shit. But he says at one point in his little article here, European governments were able to keep inequality in check, maintain economic stability in the face of globalization, technological change, and other disruptive forces. When the 2008 financial crisis and subsequent euro crisis erupted, the European countries with the strongest wealth. Now, when the 2008 financial crisis erupted, in the next paragraph, that's what I want you to know he's talking about. In the next paragraph, he says, contrary to what many in the financial sector would like to think, the problem was not too much state involvement in the economy, but too little. Both crises, the euro crisis and the 2000 were a result of an unregulated financial sector. Now, I can't speak to the euro crisis. But I can certainly speak to the 2008 financial crisis that we had. The Fair Housing Act that Bill Clinton put in was a different. Every once in a while, presidents would put some housing act and they would do something to get more Americans owning homes. Bill Clinton did a special one. Bill Clinton's was racist. Bill Clinton said, if you're loaning less money than there are percentage of those people in your neighborhood, then you are violating the law. And so they wrote it into law. It was affirmative action for bank loans for houses. If 18% of the people in the area are Latino, then 18% of your loans have to go to Latinos. Because at the time, it was like 18% of the people in the area are Latino, and 5% of the loans are going to Latinos. Right? 9% of the people in the area are black, 1% of the loans are going to blacks. Right? So they put this into law. The banks said, okay, but those loans aren't going to be paid back. So what they did was they bundled them up and they sold them to anyone that'll buy them. And they sold them, they called them high leverage. High leverage means you pay me $100,000 for this loan, and then the loan will pay you back $400,000 over time. So it's really levering a lever, lots of leverage. And the banks knew that that shit wasn't going to get paid back. They knew that those loans were garbage. And so they just sold them to anybody. I mean, Germany bought them, Greece bought them, Italy bought them, France bought them, Britain bought them. They sold them all over the world. And then when they started failing, they weren't holding them. The banks weren't holding them. They sold them on. They kept the good loans and sold on the bad ones. And it was really a popular thing for a while there. Buy some high leverage American debt and let the American. Do you remember the bubble balloon payments? Balloon payments, I think, where your payments are $600 and then they step up to $800 or $1,000, and then pretty soon you're paying $1,800 or $2,000. You started with a $600 payment, and this is the type of mortgage you should get if you expect your income to increase over the next several years. You know. They were giving out loans to anybody for anything. They had bizarre loans. And they would get the loan made, bundle it, and sell it. So, and that was just, they had to make those loans by law. That was Clinton. So eventually that came to a head. Too many of these loans had been made and it was collapsing. I mean, the defaults were reaching a fevered pitch in 2007. And the whole situation came to a collapse in 2008. So it was already bad a year before. That's what the financial crisis was in 2008, ladies and gentlemen, was racist housing laws. Now, he doesn't even give a sentence. Now, maybe he didn't have room in the article, right? No room to even say a half a sentence. But he does make a false claim, right? He could at least give us some evidence of why he's making this claim. No room for that. Only room to make a false claim. The false claim is, contrary to what many in the financial sector would like to think, the problem was not too much state involvement in the economy, but too little. So he has room to make a perfectly false claim, but no room to give any evidence, and certainly no room to back up what he says there. Well, Mr. Joseph E. Stiglitz, sir, you are a dishonest, lying son of a bitch, aren't you?